Ciao tutti, back with another episode of Coyles Calcio Corner, episode 5, looking back at Manchester United, and then the nominations for the Ballon d'Or. So first off, we're going to be looking at, is it time for a new manager? Is Solskjaer's time up? Or should he have more time? Then United's performances against Leicester and Atalanta, Ronaldo's late comeback and that 4-2 defeat. And also, what about Newcastle and Saudi Arabia takeovers? What would we do? What would we do there if we had all that money? Who would we get? Also, have a look ahead to United versus Liverpool, which could be a decisive game, really, in terms of what United are going to look like over the next couple of weeks. And then revisiting Italy in the Nations League. The run come to an end, but what a run it was. Bonucci's red card. Was it a red card? Not really. I'm not convinced. Also, the Ballon d'Or nominees. We've got Donnarumma, Bonucci, Chiellini, Barella and Jorginho all nominated. But which Italians do we think should have been nominated? And who are our top 3 contenders to win the Ballon d'Or? Who do you think is going to finish in the top 3? Or who would we like to see even finish in the top 3 in the Ballon d'Or? Lucci?
I thought you were finishing the agenda.
That is the agenda pretty much. Oh, the biannual Coppa Mondiale, the World Cup every 2 years. Are we for it or are we against it?
Well, I think it's just time to dive straight in. Thanks for the introduction. But it's all about Solskjaer. Should he stay or should he go? There's been a lot of chat over the last 7 days or so, especially after the disappointing performance to Leicester City. United poorly coming out of that 4-2. What do you think? Should he stay or should he go? What's your honest opinion? How are you feeling right now?
I think it's been a bit of a bad start to the season, really. But obviously, we go into the season thinking he deserves the season. And their expectations were going to be higher because he's been backed with some good players in Varane, Ronaldo, Sancho finally getting the right winger we needed as well. So he's been backed. So I think the expectations are up there, and we'll look poor. We'll look poor in terms of chances conceded, goals conceded, and we don't start off games well. We don't control games well, and we don't look like we can see out games. So there's a lot. It just doesn't look good. But for me, it's crucial win the other day because we need to get through the Champions League group, and he needs to stay in touch with the top teams.
Right now, how are you feeling? Should he stay or should he go?
Well, I think we're still in the Champions League hunt, and I think the bad starts to the season in the league just means there's a lot of pressure on these big games. But if he can come out of these big games and still be in relative contact, where we're not 7 or 8 points off the league, if we're still within 4 or 5 points off the league leaders, coming towards Christmas, I'm fine with that. It's when we start drifting to 8-9 points.
So are you saying that he should stay, or are you saying that he should go? What's your view? What do you think right now?
Yeah, right now I've got he's staying. Absolutely staying. I'll see 100%.
See what I mean? How I look at it with the whole, should he stay or should he go thing. I mean, it's just you have a bad result and people start talking about style of play and all these things. And listen, you're always going to get criticism, but we are progressing. 6th, 3rd, 2nd. We've not got off to the best start, but he's signed some quality players. The expectation's gone up in the camp, and we have had a bit of a inconsistent start, I would say, but we're entertainers. And that game last night was everything that is great about being a Manchester United fan. Seeing them under the lights at Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, and the header at the end from Ronaldo. It's just a beautiful story. I mean, and what more can you say about a player of that ilk? So, Solskjaer got my book back in. Yeah, of course he has. If he loses to Liverpool, the criticism's going to continue. But right now, for me, I'm delighted for the manager after last night's performance, and I'm delighted for all the boys, and seeing Ronaldo track back and just seeing the effort that everyone put in, especially in the second half, was fantastic. What's your views on Manchester United in terms of the performance of Leicester and last night? I mean, do you think they were going to get another inconsistent performance against Liverpool?
Yeah, I think first of all we have to look at the Leicester game. You don't overreact to losing one away game in 2.5 years. You know that, because that's what it is. It's the first away defeat, you know, after a record of being undefeated in the league. But it isn't just that, is it? It's the other games, it's the other disappointments that have happened along the way, the draws, losing games, and also looking very vulnerable. But going into the Leicester game, you know, you're looking at the team that's been picked. It's brave, it's offensive, and I think we made our own problems last time we played Leicester. I remember Bruno getting caught at the back, and it seemed like we were giving them encouragement to come, you know, rather than them earning it. And it seemed like if you're aware of their press and you dealt with it, you could be successful. Now this time, we're 1-0 up with an absolute fantastic goal from Mason Greenwood. What a strike. Probably the best he's done so far, would you agree?
Well, yeah, about the goal, but I mean,
yeah, it was brilliant. We were comfortable.
We're looking ahead to the Liverpool game. Obviously, after what's happened with Leicester and what's happened last night. I mean, last night's fresh in our minds. You know, let's have an overview of the Leicester game.
I'm looking at Leicester. I mean, in the Leicester game, for me, Greenwood scored a fantastic, terrific goal. We're in control. We're in command. And yeah, you can look at all different parts of the shape and the team and how vulnerable or unvulnerable we looked at the time. But as far as I'm concerned, we were in control of that game. And Harry Maguire had a red light, green light moment from Squid Game. You know, he's paused. He's paused, he's looked, he's waited for the ball, and then it's been intercepted. Now, you mentioned that you thought it might have been a cross from Tielemans and he was lucky. But I just think that came from a totally unnecessary
There's no
area.
way Tielemans meant that. I'm not having it. No chance.
But what about Maguire's part in that goal? And also before that...
Listen, Maguire's a liability. I've said that. He's an 18... You know, what I don't want to do is I don't want to be slating any of our players, especially the Manchester United captain. But for me, he looks like an £89 million fridge freezer. You know, he's turning. You know, every time he's on the left-hand side of the channel and he's having to turn on the ball, I just think to myself, is this guy really aware of what's going on? And I don't feel comfortable when he's trying to play it out from the back. Now, he can play it out from the back. We've seen him do it for England in a back three, but at Manchester United in a back two, without having Varane there, you know, we've conceded a goal every game this season. We just look shaky at the back, and he's a big part of that, whether he likes it or not.
One clean sheet in the last 20 games, I believe. I'm looking at the Newcastle game when he dived in on the halfway line and it led to a goal that you pointed out to me. And then he dived in again after Pogba dived in. It didn't lead to a goal. He got back eventually and cleared it. But
so what are we doing? Are we throwing Harry Maguire under the bus? Are we saying he's United's problem?
No.
What are we doing?
No, what I'm saying is that this Leicester game in particular, you know, there's a lot of talk about...
Yeah, but we lost 4-2, didn't we? We didn't lose just because Maguire made a mistake.
But he made 4 mistakes. He made a mistake for every goal. And
so you're saying Maguire was at fault for all 4 goals?
I am. Even the one where Scott McTominay allowed him to cross it, Harry Maguire was next to Vardy, dropped in.
So what do you think of his goal last night? Is that giving you anything to say, yeah, Maguire, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it's good. That's the only reason.
Or are you still grumbling over the Leicester mistakes?
No, I mean, the thing is with Leicester for me is that I'm not sure a lot of these players are going to go in there and do full scouting reports on every opposition they play. But this guy played at Leicester. He knows Brendan Rodgers. He knows Iheanacho. He knows Vardy. He knows he's going to get pressed. He should be in full knowledge. Obviously, he was supposedly coming back, not really fit, and that's an excuse basically for his performance. But for me, he knows what to expect from them players going into the game, and he needs to. And we should have all been on our toes, particularly from when we're trying to get the ball out and play from the back. And so I thought that was a bit unforgivable. But in terms of Maguire not really playing so well, is that really a Solskjaer thing, or is that an individual player thing? Because Solskjaer did give him the armband, did trust him, and at the end of the day, that's Solskjaer's decision to trust in Maguire with the 80 million, to sanction it, and to give him the armband and to make him almost undroppable as the captain.
I know, but I think it's easy to just scapegoat Harry Maguire. But at the end of the day, last night scored a vital goal for Manchester United in the Champions League when arguably we could have ended up bottom of the group.
On the first goal,
and he's the Man United captain.
On the first goal, he vacated the near post, which would have been the cutting it out area. I don't know if he had half a mind on what happened for one of the goals against Leicester when he went away from Vardy, and maybe he wanted to stick with that man in case it got cut back. But what about the second goal? The second goal, the player who scored had his hand on Maguire, like he was marking Maguire. Then he peeled off him, went over near Shaw, and then headed it in. I think he gave Shaw a little push. But for me, he was signed as the most expensive defender in the history of world football on two bases. One, he's exceptional in the air, and two, he can bring the ball out. And in terms of him being exceptional in the air, we seem to get done a lot on crosses. And he got done for that one. So I've got absolutely no confidence. I'm delighted he got a goal. Yeah, he should score more. But listen, at the end of the day, he showed courage. He kept coming. He didn't go hiding. But I'm saying the Leicester game and our defensive frailties are because, our leader or one of our leaders at the back is just underperforming and doesn't really look up to it. We invested all that money in him because he was English when Coyles was on the table. So and I don't think he'd do that.
This sounds like a bit of a Maguire rant from you.
No, but we were looking at the Leicester game, and that's what I think. I look at the Leicester game as, we can talk about, because I don't think Ronaldo played well. I don't think he showed enough urgency. I don't think he showed enough energy. I think the team didn't look good, really. But I think it all unravelled at the start and at the end and in the middle, all through Harry Maguire. And I think, the fact I was surprised he picked him in the Champions League game, but he has made him his captain. He's gone with him again. He's made another couple of errors, but he come up with a big goal. So credit to him for the goal.
What are we saying then about Maguire? Because
he needs to pick up his form. I'm telling him he needs to step his game up. That's what I'm saying. Step your game up. You're the captain. I want you, not going in there lackadaisical.
Does he start against Liverpool?
Listen, he starts, but he's under scrutiny. He has to start now. He's obviously like I said, Solskjaer's made him the captain, but it could be another down because he's not really made consistent mistakes over the past 2 years. He's always been available, and he has helped our defence be stronger. But as you said, he's not the best defender in the world, is he? And he started this season very poorly in most of the games. He's not looked good at all. And I'm saying, as the captain, I need you to come in with more intensity, more urgency, because the first goal, it weren't like he got done. He did himself. He was lackadaisical and he wasn't sharp-minded. You need to be switched on.
It just sounds like a bit of a Maguire round.
Step the game, Maguire. So listen, going into that game, like I said, I don't think Ronaldo particularly covered himself in glory in the Leicester game neither. But against Atalanta, 2-0 down, all the players showed that they were behind Solskjaer, which was great to see. I saw urgency. We could have had a couple of goals beforehand. Rashford, since he stepped back, because it's not all negative. Rashford, great goal from Lindelof's pass against Leicester. And another well-taken goal, even if he missed a couple of chances. I think Rashford looks bang at it. I mean, the last 6 to 12 months, we weren't seeing the best of Rashford because he was injured. But now he's fully fresh and he looks really strong. He looks good. And he looks like he's got plenty of room to improve. But I like what I'm seeing out of Rashford. It's a new dimension, isn't it? Somebody that's going to go along consistently and hurt teams that are going to do the high press. Because he was timing them runs beautifully, weren't he?
Yeah, I mean, Rashford obviously has come back and he looked sharp, but he missed a few chances last night. He's still finding his feet. But in terms of United versus Liverpool, I think it's a must-win game really for Solskjaer. He needs to win it. If he can win this off the back of a good result against Atalanta, then hopefully it'll give him a little bit more time. And I'd like to, see United still in the hunt round about January time, and him giving some money to maybe go out and splash. But I think it will be important what happens against Liverpool, because it's a measuring stick as well in terms of where we are in the Premier League, and it'll give us a real indication of what a lot of fans want to know, and what are quite rightfully asking about is, are United going to be there or thereabouts?
Well, right now, is it fair to say that from having a reasonably good start, we don't look like we're going to challenge for the league this year? We concede way too many goals. We don't look good. So right now, we don't look like we're in it. We have to have big performances against the likes of Chelsea, City and Liverpool this weekend if we're going to push ourselves into that. Because right now, we don't look like a team that can compete. Is that fair to say?
No, well, I don't think it is. I don't think it is fair to say. And the reason why is because while you're still in the league and you're still in the Champions League, you are competing. And I think with United, as long as they stay in them competitions, and obviously how far they're going to get in them competitions is debatable. So if you're saying right, or if anybody's saying right now, I think such and such a team's going to win the Champions League, I just think it's too early to predict. Everyone's got the favourites. But I think with United, and we saw it last night against Atalanta, when that group is unified and they all come together and they're all play. I mean, you got Ronaldo, for crying out loud. I mean, could you love that guy anymore? I mean, I know what you're saying about Leicester, but he's always going to have them games when we're struggling to break teams down and people are going to criticise him, but he can only do what he can do. If he's got the chance, the thing with the difference between an absolute world-class player and a good player, you can see that between Ronaldo and Rashford. Whereas if Ronaldo gets a chance anywhere around the area or the box, he tends to hit the target. Whether he scores or not, he tends to hit the target. Rashford, even if he was offside or if he had chances, he doesn't always hit the target, or he can get tackled, or he delays. He doesn't make the right decisions. Ronaldo, for me, shows that when he's in them areas, he's the best opportunity we've got for a goal in the team. So to leave Ronaldo out or to criticise him if he has a bad game, you've just got to trust a guy like that in your team.
Well, going into the season when we got Ronaldo, I told you I was thinking Ronaldo and Cavani should really share that number 9 responsibilities, because there's no reason to overplay one or the other. They both, Cavani as well as world class, he brings different things.
Well, why wouldn't you play them both? Why do you have to rest somebody?
No, but I think in some
two of the best strikers in the world now.
In some games you could rest them. You could play them both together, in some games. But you don't want to burn either of them out. And
what's this burning out? If a player's fit to play, he's fit to play.
Well, one's 36 and how old's Cavani?
Yeah, 36. But I mean, if you're going to start talking about age and statistics, Ronaldo isn't a normal player. He's not got the normal fitness of a normal player. So you can't say, oh, he's 36, so therefore he needs to be rested. If Ronaldo's saying I'm fit to play, and he's invested in himself in terms of his diet and the way he lives his life, and you saw it last night.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it? You're not looking at now, you're looking at
it's momentum. It's momentum. United entertain the crowd. That's what they look to do. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter how we beat Liverpool on the weekend. If we beat Liverpool and we entertain the fans will be happy.
Oh, listen, absolutely. But I'm looking at the whole.
Make no bones about it.
Looking at the whole, why should we rest a Ronaldo or a Cavani? It's because you've got three games a week, and then around Christmas it starts getting one game every 2 days.
You don't rest your best players right now because we're not consistent. We're not being consistent. You can't. What Solskjaer has done, and in my opinion, is what's kind of let him down and made people ask that question: is he the right guy? Should he be here? Should he go? Is because he's trying to rotate his team, and you can't rotate your team because you lack consistency. And other people have mentioned this. This isn't original from me or anything. Other people have said that if you look at statistically, if you look at Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, all Mourinho, these kind of managers who are notorious for winning the league, they try and keep the same 11 as much as they can. And what I'm seeing from United is a great result one week, and then the next week we're rotating and resting players. He's not in a position, he can't afford to do that. So right now, where we're early into the season, you shouldn't be resting Ronaldo if he's available and fit to play. Well, just like if Cavani gets back to, obviously Cavani's not come back fully fit, but when Cavani's fit and firing, you have to have him in there for me.
Well, you've got options this year as well. You're not just stuck with 3 players. You've got the likes of Sancho, Rashford, even Martial, in the right form, can bring something to the table as long as he's a part of them. You've got Lingard, who's not really even featuring. I think you've got options. People need to.
To be honest, we don't even have to go that deep. When you've got guys like Pogba coming off the bench and Sancho, you don't really discuss Martial and Lingard, and that's the reality.
Okay, but you're talking about Ronaldo should play every game.
He's fit and available.
Yeah, you're saying he should play every game, but I'm saying
he should play against Liverpool.
Okay, but I'm saying if he plays like that against Leicester, then he needs to know that he's droppable. I think he's droppable. You can't say you're above the law. Now, in terms of how he responded against Atalanta,
so every time United lose a game, if Ronaldo doesn't score, you're going to say, "Oh, this guy's droppable."
No, not at all. I'm saying that the Ronaldo's performance, it wasn't just about his goal against Atalanta. It was about his effort, his desire, his tracking back.
Listen,
we saw it from the whole team. He's a leader out there.
I know, but
you've got to set an example. You can't be strolling around.
I think you're criticising the wrong player. He's just got Player of the Month. I think you're criticising the one player after one game. The whole team played.
It was generous.
The whole team played poorly. You said that Maguire cost the 4 goals. So why is Ronaldo all of a sudden droppable and didn't? Players are going to have these off games, but the team had an off game.
Yeah, no, I think
if
that's
Ronaldo's not getting the chance of the service, these things are going to happen.
I think that's fair. My point is, if you're saying, okay, he's fit, he's 36, he's in supreme condition, why don't you run around like Cavani? Now, I'm not saying he's not a Cavani type player.
Listen. I think this is something that's going to develop over the next few weeks with Coyles Calcio Corner. But I think what we need to do is we need to realign our focus to this big game that's coming up this weekend. Who do you think, right now, realistically, United or Liverpool this weekend? Can United do it this weekend?
Well, did you see Liverpool against Atletico?
Certainly did.
What did you think of them?
Good.
I thought Liverpool had one of their off days and they still beat the Spanish champions on an off day. And they could have also blown them out by 4 or 5 in the first half. So when I look at Liverpool playing poorly away from home and beating the Spanish champions, and the way we're playing our form, I look at Salah's form, Maguire on that left side of centre-back, and Shaw's not doing a good job defensively. I think this game right now is teed up for Mo Salah Liverpool to really put the knife in to Solskjaer at Old Trafford. However, United have got a history when the backs are against the wall, and it's a history. I remember Fletcher poor in Europe, and we had a big game against Chelsea, and he responded with a great header. And I just thought, why is the guy in the team? And he put a really good response in as an individual. I think we're known as a team with our backs against the wall to pull out big performances. The Atalanta game will give us encouragement, but he's got options now, Solskjaer, and it's using them diligently. Unfortunately, he could do with Varane fit, because Varane looked like he made a massive difference.
Who do you think, United or Liverpool?
I think going into the game, you've got to say Liverpool favourites, but I think we've got a chance of winning it, and I think I think the best chance is probably like 40% say it's a draw. I think there's the best chance is it's going to be a draw. Then Liverpool win, then United win, but I think any of the 3 results is possible.
So you're just sitting on the fence?
No, I'm saying it's likely to be a draw. Liverpool are the favourites, but I wouldn't be surprised if United pulled something out, because our strong area is our left side, and I think Liverpool are very poor at right back defensively.
Who's going to win, United or Liverpool this weekend?
Well, who do you think is going to win?
Well, listen, I'm asking you.
No, I'm asking you.
No, I'm asking you. Who do you think is going to win? You're saying they could either draw, United could win, or Liverpool could win. That's what you're saying. That's what you just said.
It's a game of football. The ball's around. Anything can happen.
So you don't know who could win this weekend?
Yeah, I think anyone could win.
Right. Okay. So you're not going to say United are going to win or Liverpool are going to win?
Listen, Liverpool are probably in the best form they've been in since Klopp's been there. In terms of the start to the season, the way they've been scoring 4 and 5 goals and really putting teams away. Their best player, Salah, is playing in the form of his life. This is all set up. The way we've been defending and the way our left-sided centre-back Maguire and left-back Shaw have been playing, this is all got the makings of us getting murdered. But also, Rashford's come back into a bit of form, and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Van Dijk didn't have a good game against Atletico at all. Yeah, we want to hear Stevie Nichols putting some home truths down on the Liverpool all-time centre-back and saying, yeah, he wasn't up to it the other day. And so they're far from perfect. So there's opportunities there without. And do you know who we're a bit like, United? We're a bit like Deontay Wilder. We've always got a puncher's chance. We don't box the best game, but listen, against Ortiz, he was getting outboxed for about 6 or 7 rounds, and all of a sudden, he got shook up, and then he responded. He's got that knockout power, and United have got that knockout power. It's just, and can they be determined, compact, and work their socks off for a full game? I think they can against the Liverpool team, so I think they have got a chance also. But yeah, I am a bit worried too. It's just the truth, you know what I mean? Before a game, that's why we watch it. We don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, I think you covered all bases there. But
Scusi.
I mean, I just think that with what's happened this week, I think we need to give a little special shout out to Stevie Bruce. What a United legend and what a top guy. You know, why people giving him the kind of grief? He should not have had to put up with what he's had to put up with. And you know, I mean, obviously Newcastle wanted Mike Ashley out, and I get it, I do. But I mean, am I the only person who could see that Steve Bruce is genuinely a Geordie and wants the best for Newcastle? I think he did well last season to keep him up, and I think they got higher than where they should have. But the way that he's being treated, I think he got an £8 million payout I was reading earlier. But the way he's being treated, I just think it's been appalling. I think it's been appalling for football, and I think it'd be a real loss to the game of football that if Steve Bruce decided never to take another managerial job again. I like him. I think he's a good guy.
What do you think of his managerial performance at Newcastle from afar?
Listen, I don't think they were a great team. I think they had Saint-Maximin, who I think is quality, and I think he can change a game. And I think they defended well at times. I think Bruce did well with the group of players that he had. It's not like he had, you know, the talent that, for example, is at United's disposal. You know, he wasn't working with them type of players, and he had a lot of injuries as well. I think he's done a decent job for them.
Do you know what?
But they never wanted him, did they?
If it was me for the takeover, it would have been a kind of difficult decision. On one hand, I know the fan base don't like him, but on the other hand, I actually think he's been good in the transfer market. I mean, that Joe Wilton didn't do much, did he? But Callum Wilson was a perfect signing for a
it's
team.
Been great, Callum Wilson.
When he's been fit, he's the perfect signing for a team that's going to struggle, that's going to play on the counter-attack.
Okay.
So, Alan Saint-Maximin.
Listen.
Alan Saint-Maximin's been fantastic. And also, is it Willock from Arsenal? How about him when he hit the ground running? So I'm just saying, look at what Steve Bruce has done with his hands tied behind his back. I think he's been fantastic.
I think we both agree that Steve Bruce did a good job for Newcastle. You know, left them in good stead. They've got new owners in now. They should be able to build from there. The fact that they've got the new owners in, they never wanted Bruce. They're going to bring their own manager in. If you Newcastle fan right now, you could sign a player, who would you sign?
If I was in charge of the purse strings, have you heard that?
There's a lot of purse strings.
There, so if I was in charge of the bank lock, the bank safe,
who would you buy? Who would you go and get? Marquee signing. Who would you bring in?
I'd buy a few. I think right now I'd go and get Donnarumma. I mean, Donnarumma, I know PSG have just signed him, but he's not even playing football. I'd get him or Coyles Calcio. You don't need 2 goalkeepers of that ilk.
But why did Newcastle have to get rid of their goalkeeper? I think he's done well for
Do you know what? Dubravka's been fantastic, to be fair. So, no, I don't, do you know what? That's not even an area, but I'm just saying, if you give me...
a marquee signing, who would you bring in?
Also, you bring
in the goalkeeper, come on.
Lucci, you give me £2 billion, because...
You're going to bring a goalkeeper?
No, because they've got silly money. And with silly money, you can do silly things. So if you're saying, I've got a free, who do I want to go for? I'm going to tell you right now that there's 2 world-class goalkeepers and there's only 1 spot, and that's at PSG. So I'm going to take him one, and I think they'll give me one. So that's what I would do first. And like I say, when you start throwing money at it, because that's how I'd want to do it. I'd want to go through the team, through the spine. Defender. They've been linked with a potential takeover bid of Inter, haven't they? And if you can do that, well, then there's 2 guys, one or 2 guys you want to try and get your hands on, because Inter have got quite a few good defenders. They've got like Azzurri, and they've got Bastoni, who's young. I don't know if you'd want to take him over to the English game at this juncture and put him under that pressure. And I don't think they'd want to leave as champions. But do you know what?
These guys aren't Marquis.
No. But I'm saying, what would you do if I'm just saying, if I were in the hot seat, what would I do? Then I'm going to midfield. Yeah. In midfield, I'd probably get a nice destroyer. I'd tap into Leicester maybe and get Ndidi in a defensive midfield slot. And then, but do you know what I mean? In terms of marquee signs, like, trying to get the big power right now, they just need to stay in the league, because guess what? Otherwise you're in the championship. And everything's delayed by a year and you're costing yourself hundreds of millions. I'd be like, nah, what's going to help stable the spine of the team? And then up top, I don't know if you could do a cheeky one for Mikel Antonio. But he's, and even Wilfred.
He's never going to leave West Ham.
Wilfred Zaha, no, but do you know what else? I've been looking at maybe with money. I get what you're saying there. But I think with the power of money, I'd be asking the question. Certainly asking the question.
I tell you what, if I was a Newcastle fan listening to that, I'd be disappointed. Marquee signings, I think for Newcastle right now, their best hope, if they're serious about putting some serious cash into that club, get some loan deals done. Get some loan deals done in January. And I think you can scout around, and there's players out there. I mean, people were talking about Martinez going to Spurs. I mean, what a shout he'd be at Newcastle, number 9. Proper Argentinian, young up and coming, good striker in Europe. That's the kind of guy they want to be looking at. Or a Haaland. Why can't they buy him? His agent will take the money. 300 million, there you go. Go there for 2 seasons. Go there on loan even. We'll loan you with an option to buy for 500 million or something crazy. They could basically work out whatever deal that they wanted. But Newcastle can come in there for me. What the owners need to do is, I like the keeper. I think the defence has been decent. And at the end of the day, they play 5 in midfield. They need somebody who's going to help Callum Wilson score some goals. So I think if they can bring in a number 9, maybe someone on loan, maybe a couple of players on loan who aren't getting game time, who want to represent the countries in the World Cup, I think they could go out in January and they could exploit that market, especially if they throw enough money at it. Players that are on the brink, Martial at United. I mean, I know you like him, and I like Tony, don't get me wrong, but he's not been delivering. But he could go to Newcastle, have a new lease of life. So, I just think that Newcastle, there's a lot of money up there. There's obviously question marks with human rights and all that. It's not one for today, that. But, we'll see how that develops. But in terms of marquee signings, Newcastle, if they've got rid of Bruce, they're going to bring somebody in. I don't know who they're looking at. Bring some marquee signings in. That could be interesting. I've always liked St James's Park, and I like the fans. I think it's a great atmosphere up there. But obviously, it's Coyles Calcio corner. We need to look at the Nations League. Been obviously Italy against France, the Bonucci red farce.
Spain
against Spain, and the Belgian bounce back. We need to obviously look at some of the Italian players that were nominated for the Ballon d'Or as well. But in terms of the Nations League, what's your reaction? Obviously, the fact that the winning streak came to an end.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, but if you're going to lose, you don't want to lose to a rubbish team. Let you lose to a good team and let it not be in the World Cup. So I felt like it was going to come at some juncture, and also. Although we lost, it didn't feel like a loss because of the circumstances of going down to 10 men. It didn't feel appropriate. I mean,
what should Bonucci have been sent off?
But what I thought was really interesting was Mancini's pre-match team talk before the Euros final against England at Wembley, and he was talking to the players and he was saying, "You own what happens out there. The referee. It's not about the referee's decisions. Don't worry about all that. You deserve to be here. Concentrate on your performances." So he kind of steered them away from thinking about referee decisions. And although we won it, and that was a good mentality for the game, here was a game that players have to be reminded what can happen. I mean, we know too well. Zola had that experience against Nigeria where he was sent off. It wasn't a red card. Marquisio, very unlucky against Uruguay in 2014. Totti getting sent off dubiously against South Korea was appalling. So we've seen these decisions. Them guys have had the experience and then played again. Now,
Zambrotta sticks with me.
Zambrotta, the first yellow was never a yellow.
Yeah, it's Holland.
Absolutely. And then so these guys and Bonucci there, we've been caught out by that. But I think to give a captain a yellow card when he's talking or he's arguing a point, as long as he doesn't overcross the line, because I don't know what he said, but he didn't look like he was being overly aggressive. But to give me a yellow card, I just think
how can this be aggressive?
Then the second yellow card, I don't think he should be getting sent off. I think there, if you can determine, okay, it's intentional, a la De Rossi against Brian McBride, I think fair enough. But here, he's not looking at the player. He's gone clear for the ball. He has caught him, and I don't think if he's not got a yellow, he could get a yellow for that, in my opinion. But the fact he's got a yellow, he shouldn't be getting a second yellow, particularly when we're the home team and we're on a 37-game unbeaten run. That's not how it's supposed to end, at the hands of a referee, doing Spain a massive favour. So that was my thought on the red card. What about yourself?
Well, in terms of Bonucci's red card, I don't think it had a massive impact on the game.
It had an impact on the second goal for sure.
I think the red card, he probably didn't deserve it. I thought he was going for the ball. He was unlucky, but these things happen. But we bounced back anyway. We lost to Spain, and we bounced back against Belgium, and I was happy with that performance.
A couple more things that I want to say on the Spain game. I mean, I want to give Ferran Torres some credit. I thought they were two great finishes. Spain again, we knew they were going to be tricky opponents, and they ask you different questions that no other nation's going to ask you. We're not going to face a team like that, but I thought we coped with it quite well. But Insigne came up short, didn't he? He had a great chance, and he couldn't really. Well, he missed the target. Let's be honest, and it looked like the goal was gaping. And then they get the second. Credit again to Chiesa and the way the team didn't collapse. We could have collapsed at that juncture. 2-0 down against a very good Spanish team, particularly at possession, creating good opportunities. And so, yeah, I think Chiesa done fantastic. And the thing is as well, to have the composure to slip in Pellegrini and not be selfish, because he does like to go for goal, doesn't he? He's very direct. But you saw Pellegrini was up there and he made sure. I thought it was great from Chiesa. Good to see Pellegrini on the score sheet, and good to see us manage that Spanish style of play, really, because it is very difficult. And I thought we coped with it quite well. So I wasn't too downbeat. I was obviously disappointed the run had ended, but I was happy with the performance. And I just felt like it was a dubious red card, and we didn't deserve it, really. I thought we didn't deserve the defeat or the red card.
But anyway, the next game we played Belgium. And I thought we were back looking like Italy again. It was a great performance, 2-1, but convincing. I thought Italy controlled a lot of that game, and Belgium didn't really cause us that many problems. I mean, they did get some chances, but yeah, no, I thought Italy were good for the win, and I think it's a good third place finish. And now it's all about full steam ahead to the World Cup.
But before we go to before we talk about the Ballon d'Or nominees, what do you think of the Nations League as like a concept? Do you like it? What do you think of the Nations League experience?
It's for me. I'm a traditionalist. I'm old fashioned. I like the proper competitions. I mean, maybe in a few years' time, it might take off. But for me, I just think it's just another PR scheme.
Come on, man.
Let's get some money in. And
you're not for it?
Nah, I'm not feeling it. I mean, what, you play about 4 games and end up getting to a final?
I'm only giggling. I'm 4 games to
no
get to the
chance.
final. The reason I'm giggling is because I know that you're quite positive about the Biennial World Cup, and that's everything.
Loving the Biennial
that's
World
anything
Cups.
but traditional, isn't it? You're completely breaking the structure.
But it is. If you want to move on to that, I'll move on to that.
No, it's one and the same thing, isn't it?
Well, it's not, because the World Cup's different. The World Cup is for me, the greatest tournament in the world. there's something that prestigious about the World Cup, and to think that there's maybe only 2 World Cups in a decade. You think about it. Most people, let's say obviously people are living longer now. Let's say most people live till they're 80. How many World Cups if they went to all the ones that were available? And don't forget, you've got to, if you're in Europe, you might not be able to go to another continent, all the rest of it. What's the chances of, as a football fan, I'm just purely selfish here as a football fan, what's the chances that you can actually go to the best competition in world football, on a regular basis? You can. Some people, might never ever see their team win the World Cup. Fortunately for me, I've managed to see it twice. But that's and the Euros as well. But not everybody gets to see their team. And I think this way, and not only that, if you're a player and you get injured and things like that in and around every 4 years, it's a bit harsh that you've got to wait another 4 years. 8 years is a long time in a football player's career. So, and most top players that we know get to play in 3 World Cups. Just think if Baggio could have played in 6 World Cups. Just the whole idea, the whole concept of it, the fact that it's every 2 years, it excites me, because I think to myself, selfishly as a fan, guess what? I'm going to see more world-class tournaments. More players get the opportunity as well to play in the most prestigious thing. It can only be good for football, in my eyes. I could be wrong.
I mean, just on the Nations League, because it's segmented in a tiered manner. So you have 3 tiers of like all the top seeds, the middle seeds, the third seeds. If you're third, you can get into second group or get relegated. If you're second, you can go into top or get relegated. If you're in the top, you either get relegated to the second group or you compete to play in a Final 4 showpiece. Now, what that's done, playing the likes of Poland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Holland, and playing that level of competition, it's got us ready really for the Euros. It's kept it. We played 6 games. It's kept us competitive.
Listen, I'm not going to. I like
home
where
and away.
Listen, I like where you're coming from. And if you're telling me that you're enjoying the Nations League because you feel that it's preparing us for the proper tournaments like the World Cups, the Euros, then I'm down for it. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it. Yeah, of course I do, because I'd rather than play competitive matches than friendlies. But what do I think of the Nations League? I would much rather Italy win a Euros or a World Cup than a Nations League.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, like I say, there's a lot of teams.
You don't get starred. You don't get starred for Nations League.
No, but there's not. Hold on, there's not a lot of teams. There's not a lot of teams. There's not a lot of teams, a lot of players and teams that get to win international tournaments. And I'm saying picking up some silverware in the Nations League. I know Griezmann looked happy. Benzema was happy. You know what I mean? These guys just picking up another medal and putting it in their coffer. We can downplay a Carabao Cup or a Community Shield, but I tell you what, Pep Guardiola likes the Carabao Cup, doesn't he? I bet he loves that. And then they count them at the end, don't they? I've got 35, medals. They don't not count them.
There is no trophy greater in the game of football than the World Cup.
Absolutely.
That's it.
But let's dilute it and have it every 2 years. No, I mean, just in terms of the Nations
League.
Yeah,
let's dilute it. Let's have it every year. Why can't we have it every year? It's a World Cup.
In terms of the Nations League, that's what I'm saying. First of all, we had a lot of friendlies. And we can still, beforehand it was just friendlies, weren't they? And you chose and picked who you're going to play against. And to have it competitive now means there's not as many throwaway games, and then you still get to pick out these easy friendlies to help you work on your structure. So I've seen Mancini do it a couple of times. Just pick out chilled out friendlies against lesser opposition and just help work on the team structure.
In terms of the FIFA World Cup, every 2 years, I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously we'll see how it goes. I'm for it for the reasons that I previously said. It's more World Cups. For me, it's the best football competition in the world. I'm a massive fan of the World Cups every 2 years. How it's going to conflict with the Euros and the Nations League, that could be an issue, but that's not my concern. As a concept, every 2 years, bring it on.
I just think if you have it, it's just like having too much chocolate. I just think it's too much.
You never have too much. We're talking every 2 years.
It's not good for you. It's not good for you too much.
Every 2 years. So you want to wait 4 years?
No, but listen, that's what makes
get hit by a bus tomorrow and miss out a World Cup.
Listen, that's what makes it special. When you've got the 4 stars it's because not a lot of people have been able to achieve it, and you've got to peak at a certain point. Usain Bolt won a lot of races, but
Right, listen,
all them world championships, OC, they weren't worth much compared to an Olympics. If he didn't turn up at the Olympics and win that gold, we'd all be looking and saying he's not the fastest man in the world.
Listen,
when it counted.
If we're going to start talking about Usain Bolt, then we're definitely ready for the next topic,
but
which is the Ballon d'Or. No, because I think this whole thing about the World Cup and every 2 years, I think it's too early to start saying anything. I think it's something that we will talk about and it will develop over time. Right now,
it's right here. It's on our doorstep.
Yeah, but right now it's, are you for it or are you against it? You're kind of saying you're against it. I'm for it. Let's just park it there. Let's look at the Ballon. Let's look at the Ballon d'Or because that's something that's real. That's something that's with us. That you've had the 30 nominations. You know what I'm looking for is what your thoughts are on the 5 Azzurri players that have been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, and perhaps the ones who have missed out, and then, you know, without over elaborating too much, who's your top 3? Yeah. You know, and let's get a bit of Ballon d'Or action going.
Yeah, it's just like not to stumble or see, but it's there. It feels like it's all about the money, the Super League, the FIFA.
Yeah, but listen, we don't have to. We're Coyles Calcio Corner. We don't need to concern ourselves about that. We're here for the fans.
Yeah, but
that's what we're here for as a football fan. There's a World Cup every 2 years. Are you telling me that if I say to you, JJ, there's a World Cup in, and do you know what? Not only that, there's more of a chance of the World Cup being back in Italy. Oh, I'd love a World Cup in Italy. Yeah, remember Pavarotti last time?
It's not going to be special.
Come on, fella. Ness and Dawn were blaring out of your speakers.
Look,
it was incredible that in the Euros. No wonder Italy won it again.
It's incredible.
Manage.
But you know, I'm going to watch the Champions League.
Come on, give me the Ballon d'Or. Forget this Super League.
No, listen,
Gary Neville.
No, wait.
Line. I do like you, Gary, but
I'm gonna watch the Champions League and I'm going to enjoy the Champions League. I'm going to enjoy the football, but I still don't like the concepts of the Champions League. At the end of the day, you've ruined.
This isn't. We're not there though, are we? We're not slating competitions.
I don't like the way they restructured it. I like the Cup Winners' Cup. I like the UEFA Cup and what that brought, and I like the European Cup in its format. But I'm still going to enjoy the Champions League, is what I'm saying. And I probably will still. I will still enjoy the World Cup, and I'm going to be supporting Italy and hoping we get as many stars as we can. But I don't like the idea that in 6 years someone can have 3 stars and think that they're an all-time great team because FIFA wanted to get some more money.
Real football fans will know that that's not the case.
Yeah, but real football fans.
Real
Messi
football
and
fans
Ronaldo are the greatest of all time because they've had 15 years in the Champions League.
No, listen, that is not real. That's not real football fans. That's people who look at stats.
Ballon d'Or.
Right, that's what I've been trying to talk about for the last 15 minutes while you've been ranting.
I had to get off my chest. If I can't get it
off,
but
you're talking Super League again. And,
no, but I'm just saying it's all about the money. Why is Saudi Arabia past the fit and proper persons test? Come on, man. Come on. Anyway, let's go first of all to Donnarumma. What I want to say on Donnarumma.
There's 5 Azzurri players. You got Barella, Donnarumma, Bonucci, Chiellini, Jorginho.
Yeah, first on Donnarumma. Yeah, I think that there's been a lot of talk about Mendy deserved a nomination. He done really well for Chelsea, but I think Donnarumma, as a semi-final and final performance, he was the match winner in both of them games in the biggest competition of the year. I think he's a worthy nominee.
Why he's been nominated.
Yeah, I think he's a worthy nominee. I think well, that's what I'm going to say. I think he's a worthy nominee, but I don't think he should be winning it. And I think him and Oblak, who was the best player in La Liga last year, who got voted the player of the year as Atletico won the league. Them two had the standout years. So Mendy, I don't think was worthy of the 30-man shortlist. I thought he had a good season, but not quite up to that. That's all I wanted to say on Donnarumma there. I thought he'd done well, but he's not a contender to win it. But well done. Great tournament. Delighted with you, Gigi. Thumbs up. Bonucci. I thought it was terrific in terms of his passing. Obviously, you've had a disappointing season, and Chiellini wasn't even playing that much. But Bonucci had a quality tournament. He was available all the way through. His emotion and his gusto was critical in the final. His penalty was critical at that juncture. His header, when he got it over the line, from Verratti's header, him getting the equaliser, massive for us. Leadership. I think he's a worthy nominee. don't think Chiellini as much. I don't think he played as much for Juve. I think it's a great symbol, a great gesture, but I don't think he's worthy of that 30-man shortlist myself. I thought he had a good tournament, but he could have cost us against Spain. I thought with some lax defending on Verratti, which he should have known better in my opinion. But great tactical foul on Saka. I was all for it. Sometimes you just got to pull him back. Cannavaro would have done the same. Barella, I've been a massive fan of Barella. He underwhelmed me a bit in the Euros because that what I saw against Belgium I wanted to see more of. But he was taking off quite a bit. He was using his squad Mancini. Great season for Inter. Great in the Nations League and in the qualifiers. I've liked everything about Barella. Another good goal in the third place playoff against Belgium for the Nations League. And Jorginho, I mean, I think the thing is Jorginho's supposedly in the top 3 in the mixer of a real contender to win it. And, I think he's worthy of being in the 30-man shortlist, but I don't think he's had a top 10 season for me, like top 10 player season. I think.
What about the players who've missed out?
Yeah, well, just on that, the reason I don't think that is I thought Kante was more important in the Champions League running. I thought there were a lot more important players for Italy, in terms of our team. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the guys that missed out, I think the two, obviously there's Insigne, who had a good output for Napoli, but they didn't win anything. They've started the season stronger, win 8 for 8, and he looks fantastic. Proper disappointing missing in our undefeated run ending. Great goal against Belgium. I don't know, at times he was excellent, but he fluctuated in the Euros for me. And I'm not too disappointed with him not being a contender. But I think Verratti, I think he's the best midfielder in the world. I've told you that a few times. That's how I feel. And I think he proved it at the Euros. And I think he's one of the most important players for Italy.
So
crucial.
He's top 3 contenders.
So I would definitely have Verratti in the top 30 and probably in the top 10. In terms of who I'd go for top 3 players, I'll do it in descending order actually. I think the Ballon d'Or winner should be Lionel Messi. Now anyone who knows me knows that I don't think Messi's the GOAT. I just think, how can you be the GOAT when there's a guy cut from Argentina called Diego Armando Maradona who was also a left footer, also a number 10. How can you be the greatest when he was better than you? So I don't know who the greatest is, but he just weren't better than Maradona for me. But in this year, I don't think Barcelona were poor because or didn't win La Liga because of Messi. He finished top goal scorer. They won the Copa del Rey. I think they didn't win the title because they gave away Suarez for a bag of biscuits, and they also brought Griezmann just wasn't working out. I think that's why they lost the league. But he got
bag of biscuits.
Honestly, they give him away for nothing.
Oh,
and then
man.
he goes to the Copa America where he's always failed. And he's really turned it on in the Copa America. And I've got to take off.
Right, so you're going for Messi as the Ballon d'Or.
Absolutely.
Winner. Okay, who's your second?
Second would be Lewandowski. Because he should have got it last year. Don't give it him this year because you didn't give it him last year. If you want to give him a trophy, give him last year's trophy. But this year, he did break Gerd Muller's record. Bayern did get knocked out when he was injured. So it wasn't on him. So that shows his value as well. And I was a bit disappointed with him for Poland, to be honest, in the Euros. You only had to scrape through third. He did all right in the last game, but in the other 2 games, not enough from him. Not for a Ballon d'Or guy. I needed to see a bit more, even though his team and Cracovia were pretty poor in that tournament. But I'd give him second. I think I don't think there's a lot of contenders in there for the top spots because I think Chelsea were underdogs, Italy were underdogs. No one expected these teams to win. And so there's no real clear-cut contender, but Messi, Lewandowski. But my third pick is a bit of a left field pick. And I want to go with Cristiano Chiesa. Some people thought I was going with Ronaldo there, but no, I want to go with Chiesa because Chiesa.
Mate, you are on one.
No,
you're on one.
Well, listen, I want to go with Chiesa. Well, I'm passionate about it. Well, I want to go with Chiesa.
Get it off your chest, then. Hurry up.
Chiesa at Fiorentina. There's always that question: What kind of career is he gonna have? And when he moved to Juventus, would he make the step up? How's that going to adapt? Now, at Juventus, they had a poor season. They struggled, but in the Champions League, he kept them in the game away to Porto with a goal, and he scored 2 goals. He scored all 3 goals really when they went out. So he was their most impactful player in that Champions League exit. The Coppa Italia, he scores the winner against AC Milan. I think AC Milan might have been unbeaten for about 29 games, 30 games maybe, when Chiesa came to town, scored an absolute beauty. Then you've got Chiesa in the Euros. I thought Chiesa should have started on the bench in the Euros, despite this great form, because I'm looking at Berardi. He had 5 and 6. I believe it was 5 and 6. Might have been 6 and 7. He was on blistering form for the Azzurri. So I thought Berardi should have started. Chiesa can still make his impact off the bench. Now he came on against Wales, and he was the man of the match. He then against Austria scored the Bergkamp goal. Now Belgium bit quieter. Insigne and Barella picked up the baton, but against Spain, what a goal on the counter attack against Spain, finding the far corner. Epic again. And in the final, our best. So I thought it was our best attacking option all Euros. And this isn't just, Italy won the Euros. This is Italy who had an all-time international record of being undefeated. This is an all-time great team, and he was the best attacker, and he emerged in our faces to win the Euros. And then we're still doing things in the Nations League. In the Nations League, the way he scored that set up that goal against Spain, where he ran the whole pitch, chased down 2 people to win the ball, and then laid it on for Pellegrini. It's everything he's about. He's emerging as a superstar. And I think, you're talking about Jorginho or Benzema and all these other guys for who should be third players. I think Cristiano Chiesa, because of that style, that directness of what young Cristiano used to have, I think he's incorporated it. And also with the Ballon d'Or concept, there's a lot of talk about, it's not just on the field, it's off the field. What a kid Chiesa is. He's an awesome lad. And do you know what? In his work ethic, he's so generous. People against Spain were talking about, why is he playing so deep? He's playing deep because he's helping the team out. We're struggling. And he doesn't want to just sit up there and wait. He puts an absolute shift in. He's generous in terms of playing for the team. He always has been. He's upped his quality, stepped up to the level, and I think he's good. I think he's the real deal.
Do you think it's fair to say that you're excited to see Italy in Qatar this summer?
I think it's fair to say I'm excited to see Chiesa in Qatar. No, I'm absolutely excited. No, I just think we've got a good chance. I think Spain can cause any team a problem. I think Italy cause all teams problems because you're not used to the way in Italy approach it. It's a bit like when City or Liverpool roll up. They have a certain style of play that you have to learn and adapt to and have a plan for. Otherwise, they're gonna murder you. And I think Italy put teams in situations, in figure of 4 locks and in headlocks, in triangle chokes. They put them in situations with that high press that you can't get out of. And Mancini's savvy. He knows how to use his squad. He's a great coach, a great tactician. And so I think we've got every opportunity of doing something. I don't know how much, but and with European champions, of course, we have an opportunity of doing something. I'm excited. Hell yeah! The thing is with like these big tournaments is that anything can go down. I just hope Bonucci's learnt his lesson and everyone needs to learn that lesson, that you can't take cheap yellow cards. They've got to be meaningful. I'm stopping a player in transition yellow cards. You can't just be taking them willy-nilly because it can lead to all of a sudden a red card. And I thought that's something that Verratti did well as well this year in the Euros. If there's one thing that I'm going to say against Verratti in his career is you're never sure if he's going to stay on the pitch or get unnecessary yellow cards. And he managed that part of his game really well. His tackling, his defending, not putting himself in a position to get sent off. And everyone needs to be alert of that, because if you go down to 10 men, anybody's in trouble. It's really difficult to, even Australia, Nigeria in 94, Australia in 06, it's really difficult to escape games international level with 10 men. So we really want to keep 11 men on the pitch. And if we do that, we've got a chance of going deep. More importantly, I want to know about your Ballon d'Or top 3 and how you feel about them.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think with the Ballon d'Or, I think you've covered the majority of it. I think my top 3 is pretty much the same as you. I'd go with Messi as 1. I'd probably go with Lewandowski as 2, because I think he has been brilliant. But the only difference is the way that the Ballon d'Or normally gets voted. I'd probably say Jorginho. I'd have him in there, and I think he could be an upset for maybe winning it. Obviously, if he did win it, I'd be delighted. Perché Italia. And I'm always thinking about the gruppo, But I think Georgie, what he's done at Chelsea, he steadied the ship. Another 2 goals this week as well. What he did in the Euros. I mean, I thought it was fantastic. I wasn't overly convinced. I've heard a lot of good things about Jorginho in Italy. When he was over in Naples, City wanted him. Obviously, Pep knows a pass master when he sees one. But seeing him over in Chelsea, and then the way he sort of went up a level when he played for Italy. Obviously, Chelsea won the Champions League, Italy won the Euros, and I just think that because he's won both trophies, the way that the Ballon d'Or kind of works in terms of the way that they pick the winners, I think he could be a real dark horse for the trophy. So, yeah, I'd go with Messi, Lewandowski, and Jorginho. Not in a particular order, but I think those 3 definitely would be worthy of getting up on the stage. And you know what? Just because I love Ronaldo and I'm so delighted with the goal he scored yesterday, if he got nominated, I wouldn't be upset about it at all.
Do you want to say on the as you were mentioning Chelsea there, Juventus upsetting Chelsea in Turin, and Chiesa again, not the European champions.
Listen, Chiesa is a match winner.
But I just wanted to add that to the repertoire of what he's done in the last 12 months.
I think with Chiesa, I think his football is doing his talking for him. The fact that clubs are coming in, Liverpool put a bit of 100 million in for him. Other teams are looking at him. It's because obviously this is a guy who's just got phenomenal quality, and you can see that in everything that he does. And what Chiesa is a modern day footballer that puts the work rate in as well, and that's what people appreciate. And he's so relentless in front of goal. But my choice for like I said, Ballon d'Or top 3, I've already explained them, and I think Georgie could be a dark horse. So that's probably where we're at the moment. We're obviously excited for Qatar, aren't we?
What do you think of the other Italian nominees? I mean, do you think Chiellini? Do you think he's worthy of the top 3? I'm happy he's in there.
I think for me personally, all the Italian players that are nominated are worthy. Maybe Spinazzola should be in there. If you think about what he did. But yeah, no, you're not going to get any grumbling from me in terms of the Italian players. I think we're a quality side. I think we always produce quality players.
What did you think of Marco Verratti's omission from it? And also, let's have a look at the team.
Listen, I mean, how I feel with Verratti, I really rate him highly. I think he's a great footballer. I just think with these kind of things, these Ballon d'Or things, these individual accolades, they don't, for me personally, I'm not really massive on it, to be fair. I'm happy for the player when he wins it, and I'm happy obviously if it's a United player or an Italian player, but ultimately I just think that over the years when I've looked at it, like I remember Cantona, I think he came 3rd one year, and I just thought, why is he not right up there?
Because Baggio won it that year, that's why.
There has been other times though when people haven't won the Ballon d'Or that in my eyes they should have won it.
Absolutely.
So I'm
Baggio
just
94.
So I'm not exactly. So I'm not entirely sure where they're going with it, and I don't hold too much weight on it as well, to be honest.
But let's have a look at the team in the tournament here. Donnarumma, Walker, Bonucci, Chiellini, Shaw, Pedri, Jorginho, De Bruyne, Sterling, Stick, and Chiesa. I mean, surely Verratti has to be in there. Surely.
Well, he didn't play a couple of games, and I think his injuries and stuff, and the fact that Mancini obviously used all his subs. But
so do you think it's right that Verratti's not in there? Because like I said, he probably put Chiesa didn't.
Listen, like I say, I don't know who picks these things.
Would you have had Verratti in the team of the tournament ahead of Pedri or De Bruyne? Or do you think it's right that Jorginho's in there with Pedri?
No, I think if you're going to look at the best Italian midfielder, I'd probably say Jorginho.
When the Euros better than Verratti.
Yeah, personally, that's my opinion. I mean, I watched Jorginho and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be honest. First couple of games, the guy absolutely controlled it, and everything's forward. He's a guy in there. He's a wonderful passer. I didn't even realize how good he was, to be honest, until I watched this Euros. His passing of the ball is phenomenal in little spaces. Georgie, great technique. Love him. Yeah, fantastic. I think he was our best midfielder. And I like Barella and I like Verratti. I think we've got a quality midfield. But I think Georgie, probably just about shared it. And the fact that he's just won a Champions League, he went into the Euros on a high, and he was our leader in there.
I think if he would have, if he would have scored the penalty in the final, I think he'd have a better case for it, because then he'd have 2 match-winning penalties. And even then, I still think it's a bit far-fetched for me. I mean, as I said, when I'm looking at Italy's most important people, I don't actually see it like that, but I respect your opinion, obviously, with Jorginho.
Listen, I'm looking I love Marco Verratti, but he was injured going into the tournament, and that's a factor in this.
No, absolutely. But I think Donnarumma was more important in Italy winning the tournament. I think Bonucci was more important in Italy winning the tournament. Spinazzola, arguably, up until when he went, I thought he was more important.
But listen, this is a subjective view.
Absolutely.
As football fans, you look at different things, but I look at Jorginho as a guy who's in the centre of the pitch, controlling everything, controlling play.
He controlled the game more than Verratti against England.
What Verratti does, he gets on the ball and he sucks players into him, and then he distributes the ball well. Jorginho is a different type of playmaker. He's almost in that Pirlo kind of mould in terms of where he plays, his positional play, and how he's looking to keep the passes ticking over. Is that metronome? Is that heartbeat in there? Whereas I think Verratti can be the heartbeat, but he's more of I'll get the ball and I'm going to look for a more creative pass in the middle of the field. And because he's so tricky and intricate, he can play them passes, which makes him almost like more of a 10. I think Jorginho is just a quality central midfield player. That's what I'm thinking.
I do think you make a really good point there, but
Verratti's more of a, is he a CM? Is he a cam?
Especially for Italy, because it's like they played Jorginho in the 6 and they played Verratti and say Barella in the 8s. I was just looking at Italy. We were a goal down after 2 minutes. Very, very hostile Wembley, fans, and I felt like in them first 10-15 minutes, it was he that got the ball in any situation and kept composure, didn't lose it. Like you say, could go right up to a player and pop it off. And there's only so many times you can press Verratti before you think, what's the point? Why am I pressing him? And then you start dropping off. And I thought he gained Italy control in that game. Obviously, supplemented by a very helpful Jorginho who doesn't lose it. Yeah. Very efficient, very clean, and trustworthy in possession. I just find that Verratti is a Swiss Army knife in the middle of the park. He's doing absolutely everything. And I thought it was much more important in that game. I thought it was more important against Spain. I thought it was more important against Belgium. There was that dynamic issue against Austria. And the first 3 games, even though, like I say, Jorginho was class, Locatelli was also class. Barella was also doing things. Pessina was stepping in. Cristante came in and do a job. So, I thought a lot of good performances.
I mean, listen,
I do respect you.
I think
your Georgie angle.
I think Marco Verratti, Georgie. I mean, if you're going to say to me who's a better player, I'm probably likely to say if they're both 100% fit, probably go with Verratti. But if you're going to tell me who's the best player in that tournament, the Euro start to finish, I'm looking at the midfield and I'm thinking Jorginho in there was absolute class.
He did play
to be able to leave Verratti on the bench, and not risk him, just tells you everything, really. But that's it. It's another episode of Coyles Calcio Corner. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Hopefully we won't be too long before the next one.
Grazie tutti.
Buonasera.
JJ Coyle, Owen Luciano. Give us a follow, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be bringing you more content as and when Italy do their things. And let's see what happens and what manifests at Old Trafford, because it's looking really, really dicey. And it'll be interesting to see how United get on against Liverpool.
We're going to beat them. Simple. Easy. Ronnie will score the winner again.
Fingers crossed, mate.
Come on.
Yeah, definitely fingers crossed. Tackle.
Yeah, listen, that Salah looks good, but nah. It's all about United. Till next time. Buonasera.
Ciao.
Ciao.